Robert Mitchum's life began far from the glamour that would later define his career. Born on August 6, 1917 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, he grew up amid instability and loss. His father, a railroad worker, died in a tragic accident when Robert was just 2 years old, leaving his mother to raise 3 children during the harsh economic realities of the Great Depression. That early hardship shaped Mitchum's worldview, instilling both resilience and skepticism. As a teenager, he drifted across the country by freight train, taking on physically demanding jobs that exposed him to the margins of American life. These formative experiences gave him a grounded authenticity that could never be taught in an acting school. Even before Hollywood, Mitchum showed surprising depth. Writing poetry and working briefly as a ghostwriter for an astrologer, beneath the tough exterior was a reflective mind, quietly absorbing human behavior. Long before cameras found him, Mitchum was already studying people, pain, and survival, tools that would later define his screen presence. An accidental star, Hollywood finds its anti-hero. Mitchum did not arrive in Hollywood with ambition or polish. His entry into acting was practical rather than passionate, a way to support his growing family. In the early 1940s, he appeared in small roles, mostly westerns and war films, where his natural presence quickly stood out. He didn't perform toughness, he embodied it. Casting directors noticed his unforced charisma, a rare quality even in a town built on illusion. His breakthrough came in 1945 with The Story of G.I. Joe, earning him an Academy Award nomination and instant credibility. What set Mitchum apart was restraint. He understood that silence could speak louder than dialogue. Unlike many stars of the era, he avoided theatricality, favoring realism over heroics. Audiences believed him because he never seemed to be acting. Mitchum became a leading figure in film noir, not by design, but because his lived-in weariness perfectly matched the genre's moral complexity and emotional ambiguity. Master of noir, cool, complex, and uncompromising. Throughout the late 1940s and 1950s, Mitchum became synonymous with film noir. Performances in Out of the Past, Crossfire, and The Big Steal showcased his ability to convey inner conflict with minimal effort. His half-lidded eyes, deep voice, and unhurried delivery created characters who felt fully formed, men shaped by regret and quiet defiance. Mitchum rejected the idea of spotless heroes, choosing instead to portray flawed individuals navigating uncertain moral terrain. That choice resonated with post-war audiences who recognized the complexity of real life. He trusted the viewer, never forcing emotion or explanation. Mitchum's philosophy was simple. Truth emerges when you stop pushing for it. This approach made him one of the most influential actors of his generation. His performances didn't age because they were never artificial. They felt timeless, rooted in human contradiction rather than cinematic trends. Beyond the shadow, a villain unlike any other. While Mitchum excelled as a reluctant hero, he proved equally powerful as a villain. His performance in The Night of the Hunter remains one of cinema's most haunting portrayals. As Reverend Harry Powell, Mitchum blended charm and menace with chilling ease, creating a character that felt disturbingly real. The infamous love and hate tattoos became enduring symbols of cinematic evil, not because they were exaggerated, but because Mitchum played the role with unsettling calm. He followed this with equally memorable performances in Cape Fear and Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, demonstrating remarkable range. Mitchum understood that villains are most frightening when they believe in themselves. He never judged his characters. He inhabited them. This refusal to moralize gave his antagonists depth and credibility. Few actors could move so convincingly between hero and threat, and even fewer could make both feel authentic. Love and loyalty. Dorothy Spence and a lifelong anchor. Behind Mitchum's restless persona stood a steady, enduring partnership. He met Dorothy Spence in 1933 when both were teenagers at a quiet swimming spot in Delaware. What began as youthful affection matured into a bond defined by patience and trust. Their relationship endured long separations, financial uncertainty, and the unpredictable demands of Hollywood. They married in 1940 in a modest ceremony, far removed from the glamour Mitchum would later resist. Dorothy became his emotional anchor, providing stability as fame threatened to pull him off course. Together, they raised 3 children, maintaining a sense of normalcy despite Hollywood's pressures. Mitchum often acknowledged that without Dorothy, his life might have unraveled. Their marriage, lasting over 5 decades, was built not on spectacle, but on mutual respect. In a world of fleeting relationships, theirs stood as quiet proof that loyalty could survive even the brightest spotlight. The Outsider's Code. Mitchum and Hollywood Mitchum never fully embraced Hollywood culture. He distrusted pretension and rejected the idea that fame equaled importance. His famous self-deprecating humor reflected a man uninterested in mythologizing himself. Even during scandals, including a 1948 arrest that could have derailed his career, Mitchum refused to play the role of the repentant star. Instead, he carried on working, letting audiences decide his worth. He treated crew members with the same respect as studio executives, believing character mattered more than status. This attitude earned him quiet loyalty across the industry. Mitchum's professionalism was rooted in fairness and instinct rather than ego. He showed up, did the work, and left the rest behind. As Hollywood evolved, he adapted without chasing relevance, choosing roles that interested him rather than those that preserved his image. That independence preserved his credibility long after others faded. A professional divide. Mitchum and George Peppard. Among Mitchum's many colleagues, his philosophical differences with George Peppard were often noted, though rarely dramatized publicly. Their contrast reflected differing approaches to acting and fame rather than personal animosity. Mitchum valued instinct, simplicity, and collaboration, while Peppard was known for a more analytical and self-aware style. In an industry that often thrives on comparison, the two represented opposing schools of thought. Mitchum reportedly found excessive self-focus distracting, preferring actors who disappeared into their roles. Yet he never pursued public feuds or confrontations. Any frustration he felt was expressed privately, often with dry humor rather than bitterness. Over time, their divergent paths became evident. Mitchum's steady career contrasted with Peppard's more turbulent trajectory, shaped by personal struggles common in Hollywood. Mitchum believed longevity came from humility and respect, lessons forged long before fame found him. Aging with grace. A career that never faded. As Mitchum aged, his screen presence deepened rather than diminished. In films like The Friends of Eddie Coyle, Farewell, My Lovely, and Ryan's Daughter, he delivered performances marked by restraint and emotional clarity. These roles reflected maturity, not nostalgia. He also found success on television, notably in The Winds of War and War and Remembrance, earning renewed respect from younger audiences. Mitchum never chased reinvention. He trusted continuity. His later work showed a man comfortable with his legacy, uninterested in competing with the past. Directors valued his reliability and insight, often allowing him freedom few actors received. Even near the end of his life, Mitchum remained engaged, curious, and quietly disciplined. His presence carried weight because it was earned, not manufactured. He proved that authenticity, once established, does not fade with age. A final word. The enduring legacy of Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum passed away on July 1, 1997, in Santa Barbara, California, after complications from lung cancer. He left behind a body of work defined by honesty, restraint, and emotional truth. More than a star, Mitchum represented an idea of masculinity rooted in vulnerability and realism. He resisted illusion in an industry built on it, choosing substance over spectacle. His disdain for artificiality was not cruelty, but conviction. Mitchum believed the camera could sense truth, and audiences could too. His legacy endures because it feels human, flawed, thoughtful, and quietly defiant. He was not interested in being admired, only believed. Decades later, his performances still resonate, reminding viewers that authenticity never goes out of style. In a town that rewards performance, Robert Mitchum chose to be real, and that choice made him unforgettable.